but I just thought, like, I actually had only 47 viewers today, and I figured, you know what, like, I'm not doing much today at work, and I'm too tired to read, too tired to study, and why not have a live and hang out with people who are also either bored or want to chit chat about anything. I'm open to any subject. You tell me. And this angle, this light makes me look like a detective. And you know what? I'm gonna put up this window because I don't want to get copyright infringement. They're listening to music over there. I had like about like half hour, and oh yeah, let's see. And I hope you can hear me. Um, yeah, I wonder. So I see that every time I take off this particular window, it mutes me. So it's interesting. Yeah, like this. Like this makes me look like a detective, a night detective. Hello. What brings you over to my place of work? What's up, everyone? What's up? Maybe I should have played back the live where I had this music going, because I don't know if you can hear it. It's in my ears, but I don't know if it's in yours. Maybe not. Maybe it's best that it's not. No copyright infringement, please. I'll delete that if it's there. Hopefully not. I'm just talking to myself at this point. I'm just too tired. Like I said, I'm too tired to read, too tired to study. And I'm going to talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Anybody else who's bored out there. And, yeah, I'm on my last breath here. I don't know what to tell you. Life is just so... And I'm always moving this camera from the view of the people to my own view. And the view that works. There we go. Maybe like this. Oh man, oh man. Hey, look, I got like my own spotlight. What's up, people? What's up, world? I say hello, world. I am every program out there. And all I'm saying is hello, world. And peace be on you. Man, earlier I started to talk about social media and the anxiety that it kind of puts on people. And what do I get out of social media? I'll tell you. Honestly, like YouTube, I get a lot out of YouTube. I love YouTube. I feel like I grew up with YouTube. I feel like YouTube is part of, kind of like you have a favorite band since you were like a certain age. It's like that's YouTube for me in every part. In every part. I learned how to program on YouTube. I learned all sorts of strategies on YouTube. I'm live streaming on YouTube. YouTube is awesome. Now, when it comes to Twitter, I never got Twitter. Never understood Twitter, the power of Twitter. It seemed very non-usable to me. Instagram is great because you got pictures and you can share with friends and family and vice versa. If they go on vacation or something like that, they show pictures of their times. And I don't get Facebook. Facebook causes, it used to be like in the very beginning I didn't have any issues with Facebook. You do pictures, you do videos, you go party with your friends, and you guys share that shit. But nowadays it's like Facebook is a whole ball of anxiety. You get anxious just logging on to it. I'm not a big fan of it, and I'll never have it again. I used to have it in 2013, and I never got back, and I never wanted it. Never wanted to get it back, to be honest. Yeah. Another thing I wish, I don't know. I don't know what's a good social platform. As I was saying earlier, sometimes the thing about social media is that you get to participate in something big with everybody else, but you get that participation badge. And like for Instagram, for instance, sometimes I find myself logging on to Instagram just to check my own profile. I don't know why. Maybe it's part of the whole anxiety thing, like what do people see when they go onto my profile. But I rarely look at anybody else's profile. I only look at the home page, and I look at those little dots on the top that give me their stories. You know, I'm not big on like checking out somebody's profile unless I see them somewhere, and then I'm like, oh, I wonder who this person or what, you know, what they're like. And then I go on Instagram. Usually you could tell a little bit, but it doesn't, like, everybody has so much more volume to them, you know? What's the word that I'm looking for? Like, they have a lot of, like, it's not that, they're not dense. People aren't dense. They're very deep. A lot of people are. What's the word that I'm looking for? They're very, like, they have layers. Like, everybody has a lot to them. And so it's impossible to just judge somebody by their picture. Plus, Instagram is like, you know, it's glamour shots. We just do glamour. This is my glamorous life, you know? But in reality, like, you don't see half the struggle, right? I was saying something about my friend earlier who's got a kid, and he's starting his fatherhood at the age of 38. And like, I have nothing wrong with people who want to start families, but I just want, I don't know, it's not what I want. I don't know what I envision for myself. I don't envision the white picket fence. Maybe because I never grew up with it. Maybe because I didn't grow up around that kind of thing. I only saw it in movies and TV shows. And when I saw it, it was like surreal. It was, you know, like, for example, in high school, I went to a high school here in Toronto that's very diverse, okay? We had, instead of like cheerleaders and jocks and nerds, we had, they were divided by communities mostly, and it's because a lot of immigrants live in Toronto. So we had like a group of Russian people, a group of Filipino people, Pakistani people. We had, like, you know, Canadian people had their own thing too, and everybody, Koreans, South Koreans, they had their own thing, and we were all kind of divided based on the community that we were kind of like, I guess because language is easier, and cultural barriers or whatever. So I grew up in that school. I grew up in the system where it's very diverse, super diverse. I imagine Californians experience that. I don't know. But when I watch movies, another truck's coming. When I watch movies about, you know, jocks, like Mean Girls, like you have your jocks, your nerds, your cheerleaders. So I went to school in London, Ontario. When I was 14, my parents moved there temporary, just for a year. And when I went to that high school, it was like a little bit of culture shock, because I literally saw, like, it was like just like in the TV show or a movie. There was a group of cheerleaders, a group of jocks, a group of nerds, and it's like movie happening right in front of me. I felt like Abbott in Community. I'm just witnessing like a play here. You know what I'm saying? Um, they never open the doors for these guys. Anyways, so it was very interesting in that sense because I've never witnessed this. So when I saw this, the problem I had, because I was like the new kid, I didn't know where to fit in when I went there. I barely went to school. My parents, they weren't like huge discipliners, so it didn't matter to them if I went or not. They kind of wished I did. I know my dad, he saw how I did absolutely nothing, just stay home and be on computers, so he bought me a bicycle. And he's like, go ahead, go ride your bicycle. So I went, I grabbed my bike, I pedaled all over the town, and I got lost because of all the one-way streets. Anyway, so I don't know, at some point I did go back to school, and I met a girl from Peterborough. She was also new to the school. And I started talking with her, And my teacher, she noticed, and she goes, I didn't even know you spoke English. She's like, I thought you didn't speak English. I was just really super quiet, And this girl from Peterborough, she's pretty cool. She's pretty chill. And so yeah, there's a truck that's blocking my light. Hey, you're blocking my spotlight. Anywho, so yeah, so she and I got along because she spoke English because she was also new. But she was like from Peterborough, so she was a little bit hardcore for me, she was into a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that's not something that I did or was interested in. I just saw it in movies. As I said, I kind of just stuck to that culture. Yeah, so so it's interesting how people have families, right? And like I see that, and I'm like, the way I relate to it, because I never had this kind of ideal Americanized cultural like family. So I just kind of picture it like, you see in the movie, you see like a Christmas movie or something like that, or a wedding movie, and then I see, okay, so this is how they are like. They're like this, and they have kids. Okay, this is how I picture it to be for them. But I never pictured that for me because it was never a desire, and it didn't make sense to me. It just didn't. I don't know what my future holds. I always thought I was gonna die young. Ever since I was a kid, I was kind of sad and depressed because I always had this innate feeling that I was gonna die young. Hang on, somebody's coming. Oh, he's just moving a pylon. Wonder if you see him. But anyway, so basically I was just kind of doing what I do, and since I was a kid, I never thought I was gonna live this long. I kind of gave myself, to 25, maybe to 30, but I'm surprised I'm going to be 37 this year. Although I am already starting to feel a bunch of neuro damage in my head, and I think a stroke is imminent. So maybe I'm leading these lives as a trace of a trail of evidence. Is he going to my door? If he's going to my door, then why did he move? Whatever. Right, you're gonna see him move over here. Ooh. These doors are really, really close together. What was I saying? Right, so yeah, I need to go to the doctor and ask them about that. I think I asked them about that before, and they just gave me like Tylenol or something. But yeah, I think that is just something. I don't think it's anything that's actually wrong with my head. I just think unnecessarily. Maybe it's the way I'm standing. No, I'm kind of good. Yeah, I'm kind of good. I just don't have the thing on there. Right. So, yeah. So basically, that's how I view my life, and the future is very unknown to me because of all these ingredients. Um, I do enjoy looking at people who live that van life, but I can probably do it 6 months, maybe a year. I do enjoy the idea of living in a house by the lake, uh, and doing my daily thing, but at the end of the day, what's it all for? What's it all for is the biggest question. I mean, the reason why I started sponsoring somebody overseas is because part of it was because of that big old question, what's it all for? What is it for if it's not helping other people, right? It's a big question. Um, I mean, you could say, oh, you know, this is the tradition. This is what humans do. This is how you enjoy life. But I don't come from that background. So how can you say that to me if I can't relate that, if I can't relate to you, you know? If I come from a background of hard work and struggle and just like giving it all away, because at the end of the day, even if I keep it all, what's it all for? Right? And like my girl's like she's good. She wants to help people. She can help people with her words. She knows what to say. She's studying the right things. She wants to get into something like that. How can I help people without just by like giving money is the only thing I could think of, or like going on YouTube, living, leaving music, or just relating to people on some level. But otherwise, I'm not really sure what else I can do, you know. And I gotta look out for myself, you know, which I think I had to figure out. Someone walking around? Oh, this guy. And I had to figure it out for myself, you know. What was I saying? I had to figure it out for myself, like what's it all for and what's he looking for? Just walking around, and then 3 guys just went somewhere. Guess I'm just waiting. They said I have 10 more minutes. Anyways, and that's the thing. It's like people are looking for reasons. Like, what's it all for? Well, might as well get married, have kids, and that's what it's all for. And then you have the experience of having a child, I guess. The love that's unconditional. He's backing now. But all I'm saying is that, and that's fine. Like, I have nothing against people searching for meaning and wanting to do something with their life. I mean, that's cool. If that's what you want to do, then you do that. I'm just gonna close this. I don't want them to hear what I'm talking about. It's just between me, and you gotta subscribe to my channel to know what else I'm saying. But yeah, so like some people are fine with having their kids, and that's what they want to do, right? They feel fulfillment, I guess. I don't know, or I don't know. because some things just strike me as too much, and too much. Like, I don't want to leave a huge with carbon print footprint, because like my coworker said today about he knew somebody who moved to Panama, and that guy now has a mansion, and I'm like, well, that's a little bit too much. Like, if I had a lot of money, I think I would share it with people. I think I would help others. I don't think I would keep that money to myself, because I find it useless. Not like I could spend that money on myself, but the only thing I would spend it is on my own experience, so that I have experience in understanding the value of life, like going, traveling, and living in different areas and places, and what is all that about? Like, I am totally down to exploring that. But if you told me, hey, buy like this big condo downtown for like $1 million, and you gave that to me, I swear I don't know what to do with it. It's just not in my DNA. Maybe because I grew up poor, I don't think about such big things. In fact, I never thought of having all these big things. In fact, maybe because I didn't want to feel envious or jealous, I never put value on these things. And maybe it's a good thing that I didn't, because at the end of the day, what does Fight Club say? You own the things, and then the things end up owning you. So yeah, so I'm a big fan of ownership of shit. In fact, I think that I'm a best candidate for places like FedEx, because I have zero interest in any of these packages and what they contain. Sometimes I like to look at the addresses they go to, but I see it as like somebody's treasure, like my garbage is somebody else's treasure, right? It's just filled with stuff that people put value on. That's the reality of it all. It's stuff that people put value on. And then this is how you build your wealth. And wealth equals what? Power. Does it though? Or does it mean that you're just more you're more intertwined with the society? You're more, in it. You're more following these rules that you're supposed to follow in the society, Like, what does it mean? Like, I'll tell you, I discovered at 17, I discovered that all I need is just to be with somebody, love them, and just be in a beautiful setting. And that's all I want. Like, if I went to the beach and I was with somebody I loved, and that's all we did all day, that's good enough for me. Or if we went hiking in the forest, that's good enough for me. I don't need some kind of a villa with, like, views are always good wherever we go. If the view is beautiful, it's beautiful, but you can only enjoy it for so long before it's over and done with. There's this joke where this guy's like, let's buy this painting. It was like some expensive painting. He goes, there you get like Jesus Last Supper. Let's buy this painting. He goes like, are you kidding? After a week we'll be sick of it. And that's the truth with everything. Nothing lasts. Everything just comes and goes. And maybe my priorities and values are different than others. I never prioritized having my own house. I know there are people who, that's all they did. They worked for it. They saved up, and that's all they felt. This is what you have to do as a human being, as part of the society. This is where you belong, and this is what you're supposed to be doing. I didn't feel that way. I don't feel that way. I mean, I could rent. Sure, I could stay somewhere. I need to stay somewhere. Basic necessities are needed. But I don't ask for much. I don't need much. I just wanna be like left alone from all of this. You know, I just wanna play music. I wanna enjoy my time and spend it with friends and family, and I don't need too much. I don't ask for too much. And I don't want to be compared to other people either. You know? I knew people like that back in the day. You know, in your early 20s, you all look at each other like, this is the way the media and movies built us. They built us in such a, the media, everything. They built us in such a way where we have to compare each other and who's more successful over somebody else and who's doing what and where they live and all this BS. And honestly, like, maybe I just live by the road. I just want to be a traveling hippie. I don't know. Because all this other stuff does not appeal to me. Maybe working remotely, you know, getting an income that's steady just for the things I need. That's all I want. I don't want anything else. And then, like, if let's say I do get something going, let's say if I do get something going, what does that look like? You know, I wouldn't want to sell anything to my friends. I wouldn't want to, you know, like, it's different. I don't even know if I call them friends anymore at this point. We're just people who are getting by and who have each other's phone numbers. And we send memes to one another once in the blue moon, right? What is it all for, right? I mean, this is why if you want to follow me on my Patreon, the very first reason why I want to do, I tell you, this is why I joined Patreon. I feel like there's a lot of big changes coming my way, and I want to make them happen without judgments. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm cool enough to just do my own thing without looking over my shoulder or being judged. Who's judging you, Olga? Nobody's judging you. Hopefully not. I know parents like to do this. I don't know if your parents do this, but they just like compare you to their friends' kids or something like that. And I'm like, dude, we lived a total different life. I lived a total different life than they did. And they probably received different things than I did growing up. I mean, you up and left a country when I was 9 years old, and then we came here with nothing, and then we struggled to finally get somewhere, and then there's a lot of like, I'm a sensitive kid, I'm anxious, I got anxiety, and then you want to compare me to all these other people who are, I don't know, maybe they had it easier, you know? I was a latchkey kid. I didn't come home to anything. We didn't like sit down as a family and have dinner. We didn't have deep conversations, did we? My parents didn't help me with my homework. I did that myself. And maybe that reflected on my marks a little bit, because I knew students, like I said this before. I still remember this. There was an assignment, I don't remember which class, maybe philosophy. There was an assignment that we're supposed to bring a song. We play the song and we talk about it, the meaning behind the song, the lyrics, the music, whatnot. So I brought some popular song, and some other kids did too. But this guy, he brought Stairway to Heaven. No, Hotel California by the Eagles. That's what he brought. And he had such a huge, deep, meaningful explanation about about the song. And I'm like, no 14-year-old kid knows this much. Like, his dad must have helped him with his assignment. There's no way. So so I didn't really look for extra help, which I guess I could have, but I didn't bother. I mean, the whole idea of, the whole school system, just the way that it's set up, like, or was, I don't know what it's like now, but the way that it was set up is like, I felt like part of like sheep, like cattle. Like, it was like to condition and to program everything to think this way and do these things, and just, this is the right way to do it. And if you don't want to sit here and listen to Bad So Sad, you're going to be left behind. And then, like, all this media and all this television shows, they're like, yeah, if you don't go to school, if you don't go to college or university, guess what? You're going to be without a job, you're going to be left behind with, like, I don't know, all sorts of crazy shit that they talked about. Trailer park kids and whatnot, like, all sorts of crazy stuff. And people believed it, and everybody went to school for programs they didn't even want to get into. They just finished high school and they were like, we have to go to to college or university. That's it. That's the way it was. And I don't know a single person who didn't go to, well, okay, I know one or two people who didn't go to college or university, but these people, I think they were unsure. They took a total different route. But most of my friends, they went to college or university. Some changed their subjects. Some dropped out. That's the way it was. And then millennials ended up being the most educated generation in history. And we all followed this rule because children are our future, and other lies. And I don't know, it's just the whole thing is like, we followed these rules, and where did we end up? Like, just kind of like little rats, like just watching the stock market and trying to somehow win a little bit here or there, something, just something, like, give me something. Otherwise, it's just a loop of 9 to 5 or whatnot, and like, where's the freedom in that? It's just, you're constantly anxious, wondering what bills you're gonna pay, when you're gonna pay them. Oh, these guys are here with seals. I'm just living. Guys, like, some guys, they walk like they're so cool, like, as soon as it's kind of like people are aware of their walk. When somebody looks at them, they're suddenly aware of how they walk, and they change their pace, and oh, we're noticed. Yeah, I gotta go inside soon just to get my stuff. But yeah, all I'm saying is, the way that the society kind of put all this pressure on us, and again, like, we are living in the place where we're free to decide, and that's true. But if we're free to decide, then why are we told that one way is right and one way is wrong? But you're free to decide. It's like, hey, if you take this road, you're gonna have, a nice future, a nice family, a nice career. But if you take this road, you're probably gonna be broke for the rest of your life. And but it's your choice. You know what I mean? Like, and then, yeah, like, I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea where my friends are at financially. Not a lot of them want to share. I'm free. I'm open. I'm an open book. My friends know my financial situation. I even tell them how much I earn. I tell them how much the taxes take away from me, what my budget is. Why I say this? Because I'm curious. I am curious to know if I'm the only one who's like going through all this bullshit, but I don't get any response from them, that's fine. I'm not asking for everybody to be transparent. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I don't know something that they know, but some of them did share some things with me, and it does not look that wonderful on paper either. I don't know what the future holds, but it's sad because I know some of my friends who did want to have families and house, and they dream of having that American dream just completely shattered for them, and they're struggling in other ways. I don't know. I love how people who do van life and all these, like, let's leave the country, all these videos, they give so much hope that there's more to this, you know. And rightfully so, because I had friends who didn't continue living on this planet, and because they didn't see any other way out. But the truth is, you do have a way out. It may not be this, and you may feel like you're stuck, but you can get out. You can. I mean, it's a hell of a thing. Life is a hell of a thing. Nobody has a manual that tells you, you know, what to do and how to live. You know, like, they throw religion, they throw spirituality, but at the end of the day, it's up to you how you want to live it, right? And you want to be in a place that allows you to live it freely. And I mean, the way you can live freely, truly, is to escape the rat race. But how do you escape the rat race when everything around you is based on that? And then they put fear onto you. So, like, you can't afford food if you don't work. You can't afford shelter if you don't work. And then they make it more expensive. So now you have this fear, like, you know, I can't do this without. So, and you know, like, long ago, you were able to basically save, travel, and pay all your expenses. Then it became, okay, you can either save or travel. You can't have both, but, and then you have to pay for yourself, right? Then it became like, you can't save, you can't travel, you got to cover all your expenses. Now it's like either rent or food. And it's like, what? Which direction are we heading towards? And so, yeah, I'm confused when my friends have kids, because I'm like, either you have money, or you have relatives, or you have some kind of help, because I can't even imagine going shopping and like I can't even do it for myself. Okay, I can't even remember the last time I bought something was probably from a thrift store. Everything else was either a gift or it's old. I just have old shirts and everything. Yeah, I think the only answer here is to escape the rat race. How you escape the rat race? You work for yourself, I guess. That's the only way. And the future looks as if, I mean, you can benefit from doing something like AI technology, programming, doing something with technology that allows you to have your time for yourself. But even then, like, I see my sister, she works in IT. And even then, she's like a 24-hour, like, always available, always on call. Oh, it's tough. And I wonder, like, do they even compensate for all that stress? All the unhealthy things you're doing? Like, and then you're bringing kids into this world, so what? So they can also go through this? You know? I think I might have to go soon. This guy got his trailer. But all I'm saying is, like, am I hearing voices? I'm hearing voices now. Yeah. I welcome schizophrenia. I need a friend. Preferably someone who speaks French so I can actually learn the language. Whee! I hope he remembers to close his trailer. Um, yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's up to each person to decide what their future will look like. I mean, my parents, I think they always had a fantasy of living in a nice fancy area, a nice fancy place, and having things. I don't know. I never envisioned my future. I always thought I was gonna die young, and envisioning my future is just it's painful. Like I can't imagine 30 years from now being the same as it is now. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't calculate in my head. Like, how are people okay with all of this and they're gonna keep going? I mean, one of the things I love is the idea of open borders. And what open borders is basically, I'm not talking about goods and services, globalization, because, you know, freight going in and out, that's a whole thing. But I'm saying people in general, I think it's fine. I think we're okay with going to any country. Like, where you were born should not dictate where you can go. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to travel to any country you want. I mean, we're all human. Like, why are you, birds can fly anywhere. Why are you limiting people? Like, okay, fine, we can have identities. Who is who? You know, maybe we need that, passports, criminal record check. Sure, why not? But, you know, if my family lives in, let's say, I don't know, Iran, and I want them to come visit me here in Canada, I don't see why, like, and if it's like, let's say my mom is like an older lady, like 70, I don't see why it's a problem for her to come here. And they just completely, or they want so much money for immigration and through immigration and, you know, visitor visas and all that stuff. And like I said, you could still have security, check people out. But I don't understand why we can't just have open borders. Just, it's a radical idea. And I think somebody in NYU, this professor, wrote a book about it. But I think it's a wonderful idea because it will get all of us closer together and we can, like, I don't know. It's just, it feels wrong to me that, you know, the whole thing just, it feels like it's not moving forward. Like technology and everything is moving us forward some way, somehow. But it's moving us forward in terms of productivity. It's not moving us forward in terms of a nation. Education should be free, but it's not. So again, it's not moving us forward to having an intelligent population. It's, you know, an educated population means good things. It means, you know, less people will end up in the hospital. I'm just saying that open borders is a great concept and it should be applied. I don't think all people are evil. I don't think a certain race believes in one thing and all of them believe in this thing. You know, I think it could be that one person decided to be, you know, radical about something, but and then maybe made a group, but it doesn't mean that whole, you know, population believes that. I think that most people want to just chill out. They want to sit back, drink, you know, their fizzy drink or whatever they like by the lake, nice warm sun. I don't think and they want like a nice house, maybe some food. I don't think people are, you know, vicious and inherently evil. I think they just want to, you know, get by and they're trying to just live their life. So, but like the way that the media like makes it us versus them, always, no matter who they are, it's us versus them, no matter what situation, always us versus them, us versus them. And this duality process is just destroying everything. And people are like, get mentally anxious, like, oh, we can't have politics at the dinner table because we're all gonna just be on opposite sides and blah blah blah. Well, who is making you do this? Like, who is making you believe certain beliefs and stick to them? And just people aren't inherently bad. They don't want bad things. you know like, I understand there's some people who have radical thoughts, like Thanos from the Marvel. Like, okay, I understand that there are people who have these kinds of thoughts, and acting on these kind of thoughts may not be beneficial for everybody. You know what I mean? Okay, so there's that. But is it possible for Thanos to also understand? I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm caught in the loop because I kind of imploded my own reasoning. I'm caught in a loop because you have people like Thanos, and therefore, even though he's a fictional character, well, you have people like Putin, who's in charge of like a country, and he decides what he wants to do. But it doesn't mean that like everybody in that country agrees with it. In fact, not half, but I'm over exaggerating, but like a bunch of people just ran away from it because they disagree with it. So it's not like everybody's like, oh, we're in on it. A very small population is in on it. I don't know what the right thing is. I just know that most people just want to be chill. That I believe. I don't think people are born and raised. Well, there are people who are like conditioned in that sense. But at the end of the day, even if they're working towards evil or doing something evil, don't they get tired and exhausted and they just want to kick back? Doesn't Dr. Evil deserve a little bit of R&R? Doesn't he? Okay, I imploded my own reasoning. It is what it is. What am I gonna do? I'm tired. I'm not gonna argue with myself, but I'm just gonna let myself be right about other things. It's the only way to survive, is to argue with yourself. Your mind is your own enemy. You gotta go through it all. You gotta lay it out and draw a map. It's the only way to survival. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna continue going, I guess. With the way that things are going, I'm just gonna continue flowing with it, because what else am I gonna do? Just go with the flow. As I mentioned before, we make plans and God laughs. I can make a plan tomorrow and be like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna be reading this, I'm gonna be studying that, I'm gonna take a look at this, and then tomorrow comes and I get a call, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and the whole day completely changes. You never know what's gonna happen. The future is full of mysteries, and all we can do is just, I guess, go with the flow, which is unfortunate because not all of us agree with what's going on, but and sometimes maybe I think that all the struggle is not worth it, and what's worth it is to maybe just leave it all behind and not necessarily start fresh, but approach life in a different manner, a different style. Instead of waking up and slapping yourself and going, let's go, today's another day, you can wake up and just be like, today, it's today. No time, No pressure. No phone calls. No messages. It's just the day. It's just a day. And you can kick back, do whatever. It's just a day. And then when it's over, you're sad because the day's over. But tomorrow's another day. I'm gonna implode that one too. And then it's like my whole world is just gonna come crashing down. And I never know what the right thing is. Anyway, half the time I just end up arguing with people because they will tell me one thing and another thing, and oh, I think I got bit by a mosquito. Stop drinking my blood. Anyways, I guess the only thing you can do is just find a job you can tolerate and just face the music and just do it. And hopefully it becomes rewarding at some point. I don't know. But leaving, I mean, as long as you have a plan, I guess. If you have a plan, I mean, you can do it. If you don't have a plan, it becomes difficult because then you get pressured by everybody around you going, what's your plan? Tell me your plan. What do you do that for? Why did you do this? You know? So, yeah, I don't know what the right thing is. The answer to it all. I'm just gonna chill here until they come to me. I don't know what else to do. Oh, Lord have mercy. What time is it? Just gonna relax. I got no messages again. Oh, wait. There's a message here. Nah. That's not a message. I thought it was a message. No easy answers, unfortunately. But at least I don't have too many responsibilities, and I can somehow get out of the situation I'm in and somehow make it past it, you know. Maybe I'm on YouTube looking for answers. I don't know. I love YouTube. YouTube University. YouTube University, man. I learned so much on this platform. YouTube University. They should really start one. I wanted to put it on LinkedIn so bad, but every time I think about it, I hesitate. I go on LinkedIn and I want to add education, YouTube University. I hesitate. Because I'm like, what if some recruiter or career counselor is going to look at it, they're going to just throw me out. One of my friends looked at my LinkedIn. She's like, you only have 2 connections? Who is it? It's me? Is it just me and who? I'm like, my dad. So it's just you and your dad? I'm like, yeah. Those are my only 2 connections on LinkedIn. And you know what? Like, I have a full-time job and I've had it for 10 years. I don't really see a reason to go and build more connections. LinkedIn never did anything good for me, ever. LinkedIn did absolute zero for me. As long as that platform existed and how many years I've been a member of it, I've never gotten anything out of it. In fact, all I kept getting was like these promos, like come and join the professional team and pay a bunch of money. And I was never like, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, is just be a LinkedIn member. YouTube, however, it's a different story. YouTube's chill. I love YouTube. YouTube's chill. Content, participation, you know, whichever you swing. That's all right. But when it comes to like LinkedIn, I don't know. Never did anything for me. I have more luck. All the jobs I've ever had, I found them on my own. Except for maybe when I was 16, a friend of mine found me a job at this wax factory. But besides that, all the other jobs I got them on my own. I found them on my own. No friend, no LinkedIn, no other internet thing. So even FedEx, I was a freight forwarder for a company. I was making minimum wage, even though I was a freight forwarder. Go figure. I was an air freight manager, and they still paid me like 12 an hour. Anyway, so a FedEx driver will come by every evening, either picking up or delivering. And I asked him like, "Hey, I want to get into FedEx." So I gave him my resume, and he said I still have to make an account and sign in, which I did before, but never heard from them. So I did it again, and then they hired me, and I got my AZ license on my own, and then I got this position, and I went through a lot to try and get this position. So it's like if I have to leave it, it will be a little bit painful because I put a lot in getting it. But sometimes when things no longer serve you, you gotta leave them, even if you were in it for such a long time. And I know this. If it comes to a point where you're just like, I'm breaking even at this point, I'm not making anything, and I just don't know where it's gonna go from here. So I gotta make a change, unfortunately. I don't know what though. What kind of change? But something's gotta give, you know? And I don't know what it's all gonna end up being. Maybe I gotta check on my freight. Hang on. Okay, good news. I don't have to do anything. Just hook up to my old trailer and head to the other place where I get to just chit chat with my coworker again. You could totally tune into this live and just chit chat with me. All right, let's get going. Here we go. I love that, like, today I had so many different lives, like 3 different lives. thinking about, like, earlier, I was saying the same thing. Like, in this world that we live in, I am happy with the freedoms that I got, but boy, oh boy, are they expensive. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. So, yeah, freedom comes at the cost. And, I don't know. Do I picture myself 30 years from now? Where would I be? What would I be doing? I mean, I just can't think that far ahead. It's just, it doesn't compute. Like, I can make it up. I can make all of it up. And be like, yeah, well, God, this is how it's gonna look like. This is what's gonna happen. And that's it, you know, that's how it's gonna be. But that's not, you know, it's not how I believe it's not how it's supposed to, it's gonna come out as. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I arrive to my other destination, I think I'm gonna have to end the live. So we waited for about an hour, so it's an extra hour on my lives. I don't know if people tuned in. Basically, I just talked about nothing. You know, sometimes when I drive at night, like 2, 3 in the morning, some of the guys would like to call each other and just chat about absolutely nothing. And yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, we didn't really have much to say. We would be all over the place. Let's just say our mind, a human mind, is so complicated and is filled with so much shit and so much garbage sometimes that when we spew it onto other people, they understand and they receive it as, oh, it's just, you know, more garbage. They don't necessarily, you know, have to agree with what you believe. And plus, just like Louis C.K., Bill Burr said, whoever, which one? These are just our beliefs. They're temporary. They're not these beliefs and that we're believing. They're just here and they're beliefs. But tomorrow, they're going to be completely different. Because, you know, well, to an extent. I mean, you'll have a base of your beliefs. Right? However you were conditioned. But yeah, it's not gonna be like Olga's not this way forever, or this person's not this way forever, right? That way forever. Like, we all have thoughts that come and go, and PepsiCo. Can you imagine working at a company called PepsiCo? Do you get Pepsi every day? Just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. So I guess this is the end of this third live that I'm making. I guess my whole focus on today was work on YouTube because I was too exhausted to do anything else. Because believe me, I have books I could read, and they could be inspiring books. Just thinking of some of them now, it's just, I feel like they would put me to sleep, and I don't need that. I need the opposite. Like here at work, and live-in actually energizes me for some reason. It gives me a jolt. So I don't mind going ahead and just chilling with everybody. So there it is. I'm gonna take you guys for a ride with me. And then when I arrive at my final destination, I'll have to stop the live. I mean, maybe a part of me. You know what? I read somewhere that procrastination is another form of anxiety. It doesn't mean that a person's lazy. It just means that they're anxious to get to something. think that because I have a lot of that, you know, the thoughts of, okay, I gotta read this book and that book, and there's some anxiety there. And a part of me is just like, can I just get a summary? Please, can I just get a summary? Oh yeah, best grief so. Just making sure nobody else moves. Sometimes they do. I love life, but, and again, like, this is the thing that I think that people need to keep in mind. Life is tough, yes, because of the circumstances. In general, life is not this difficult, because, I think I gotta go back. He's gonna try and call again, I think. He called me and then he hung up on me. Anyway, it's been about an hour. I'm thankful you guys joined me on this live. Whoever did, I know there's somebody who's stuck around for a while I was going through the thought process of what life would be like for me in the future. Maybe it was my mom. And she went to bed. I don't know. That's all I can say. It comes and goes with waves of thoughts of what it's all about, what it's supposed to be. I mean, one can become a doctor and help relieve pain. I guess that's what doctors are supposed to do. And one can become a dentist and have people relieve pain for their teeth and whatnot. Engineer and build whatever, but honestly, I don't know. You make life easier for people, you make it more comfortable for people, and they're still not happy. I mean, we've come so far as a population, our production is gone skyrocketing, right? We've been producing like non-stop. It's the same, and yet it's not enough. Nothing, it's never enough. What would be enough? What would, like, I'm a simple person, I don't need much, so, but there are people who are givers and people who are takers. I don't think I fit in the category of somebody who just wants to take, because I don't want to take anything. I know it's people's hard work. It's something that they've worked really hard at. And they got it, and I don't want to take any of it. In fact, I don't even like receiving gifts. It's not that I don't want to accept somebody's gift and I find that, insulting. It's just that I know that it's hard work. I work really hard for it, and giving it to me is supposed to signify how special it is, and it's supposed to carry meaning behind it. Maybe I feel guilty. But at the same time, when I give gifts to people, I love it. I love their reaction. I love their how rewarding it feels. But what I don't like is when I give gifts and then people kind of expect it or demand Why? Who are you? Why you want so much? Like, I'll give what I feel is right and what is fair and what I can actually give, right? Versus, I don't know. There are people who demand too much. I think I'm just keeping this live all the way home. It's just me talking to myself, like. Most beautiful things in life are very simple. I love art, and I have a few paintings at home. Like, even I'm looking back at this life, for example, and I'm just looking at the background that's happening here, and I think this is artsy. You know, it looks pretty, it looks beautiful on its own, and it's simple. It doesn't cost any money. There's a lot of beauty out there in the world, and you don't have to, you know, blood, sweat, and tears to get it. You can, it's out there. It's available for you. We become, you know, each other's like hazards in a way sometimes. And yeah. I don't think we need to. It's just it's difficult when pressures and stressors exist in that sphere, you know? Yeah. I mean, you could wish that you could just, you know, escape from it all some way, somehow. And I guess that's, you know, vacations do it for you for a week or two. You can kind of escape the rat race and just be somewhere that's nowhere at the same time. But then you have to come back to the reality of it all. And yeah, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, have to? You have to. I mean, we live in such a privileged life that, you know, you don't have to if you don't want to. No one's making you. And that's probably true. Ever since I was a teenager, when I was 16. As I was saying, the night streets, they are beautiful. When I was 15, 16, 17, I used to go downtown a lot, especially nighttime. And I used to enjoy the lights, the city skyline, beautiful streets. Back then, that was like 20 years ago. It wasn't as crazy as it is now. Now the buildings, they have like 3 times more than they did back then. And I remember just hanging out there at nighttime. You got summer, you got beautiful weather, just problem with alcohol, and I was overdoing it, and I was binge drinking. Even though, like, that aside, I still enjoy the beautiful night streets. And even now, like when I drive here at night, and these street lamps and lights, and I mean, I feel like I'm in a microchip, you know? I mean, I'm not saying that, I don't know what I'm saying. So slow. Right, gotta go here. I think this might be my kind of like last one for the day. Of the day for the day. Guys. There it is. Gates out. Uh-oh. I remember it used to be it used to be really fun for us to go downtown those days with depending on what we would do. And I used to love those weekends and the social aspect, but mainly the drinking, unfortunately. Alright, let's get this. They say it's last, but usually. Oh, there we go. Maybe a little bit. Gotta make it perfect. Some of these doors are very small. Let's see. They're not like standard. And that's because the building that we chose just was like that for what we're trying to accomplish. Some of them don't really fit 100% criteria. Let me just go out and push the button in. I remember those days back in the day when I used to run with a rave crew. We used to go to raves those days, and I'm not talking about like 1994 grunge days. I'm talking about 2000, 2004, 2005, 2006 rave days. That's what I'm talking about. There is a club. It was called Funhouse on Bathurst. Oh wait, here. It was on Bathurst Street. It was Funhouse, and I actually had a friend who was a DJ. Hope everything's well. And he would play often. And I would get my glow sticks, I'll go down there, and I'll just feel like, hells yeah. Don't have to pay cover, nothing, especially if you go by yourself. You could sneak yourself in. Unfortunately, I knew people who got lost in that, how do I put it, environment, in that place. And when I say they got lost in that place, I mean they took the drugs a little too far. I remember I was 17 at the time, and I don't know, we went to a rave and then we went back. I was going back home, but they're like, and at the time I was going through a little bit of a heartbreak, but it wasn't like with a lover or anything, it was something else, like just friendship issues. And this guy, he's like, hey man, let's just, come out with me and my friends, we're gonna go to Peterborough, and get smashed, right? And so I met his friends, and they're cool. There's this girl, and I still remember her name. Her name is Victoria, and she used to do poi fire. She would light these chains on fire, and she would like just go crazy, like it would be like fire. She was a fire poi fire. That's what it's called. And she was very creative, artful with it. And so we went to her place with her other friend who was driving, and I guess he was a drug dealer, because I remember he held up a Ziploc bag full of pills. And I'm not sure what those pills were. I don't remember, but I know my friend, he ended up having some of those. And we drove to Peterborough, to her studio apartment, and apparently the studio apartment was part of a old store. So it was like you literally walk from the street into the store and it's an apartment. And I mean, I can't tell you, like, from a 17-year-old perspective, it looked cool. Like a kind of like a loft, that kind of sense. It looked kind of cool, but I wouldn't say it was completely like nice, stylish, with cool, amazing, like cupboard, like the way that adults think. Oh, hang on. Sorry about that. Had to, just general work stuff. Anyways, so as I was saying, so we ended up in this Peterborough studio apartment that's actually like on the like a store, and all four of us just kind of just chilled out, had a beer, chit chatted, listened to music. In the middle of the night, Victoria came out and started doing poi fire, and then she's like, hey, you want to try some ketamine? I never tried ketamine before, and she's like, yeah, come on, let's try it. She crushed like this pill, and then I guess I snorted just one. And I'll be honest, maybe because of the beer, it didn't do anything for me. Maybe it wasn't a good pill. Maybe she didn't give me enough dose. I don't know. I didn't feel anything. I just wanted to go to the bathroom all the time because I was afraid that my bladder was going to explode. I just kept going to the bathroom all the time. I can't remember what else we did. I think Victoria might have been like one of my first like girl kiss. I don't remember. I think we did kind of cuddle and that night, and we just relaxed. We were all just chilling, shooting the shit. I didn't do anything else besides ketamine. And yeah, we stayed up all night, and she did the poi fire thing. And then I think the next day she went to do laundry or something, and she said I think I'm still into the music because I was just listening to music the whole time I was in the laundromat. I was hearing music. I don't even remember how we got home. I think they drove us back. Yeah, they must have. Yeah, I remember they drove us back. And I held hands with Victoria. But nothing else happened after that. And yeah, we parted ways, and my friend, unfortunately, he went down a very dark path. Um, he even went to jail, and it was a very sad situation. They even printed, um, one of my friends, he even found an article on him about him being HIV positive or something like that, and he sent me, and infecting somebody who didn't know, who was underage. I don't know. It was like a whole thing. And then he sent me an article. So I know from that article, this dude, he probably ended up in jail for what he did. I remember he would, but he was wild. Like, he would have like a whole ball of crystal. Yeah, he really went down the wrong path. So when I say we went raving, my paperwork's here. All right. Yeah, so, and I don't know what happened to him, but let me tell you something. When I heard about him and that newspaper article I received, I looked at it and I read it, and the comments that followed, there was no shred of forgiveness. It was the complete opposite. There was a lot of violence and so much hate, and it's kind of crazy when you know that person. And not well, I didn't know him that well, but I knew who he was, and to watch him receive comments like "kill yourself" and "I hope he dies" and things like that, it's so heartbreaking, you know. And I couldn't believe that it had happened either, because I didn't know. Like, I know he went down the dark path, I know that his drug usage elevated, he definitely, but we didn't know. We were young. When you're 17, 18, 19, you don't think that you're addicted to anything. You're out here partying. That's all you're doing. You're like, oh, I was invited to a party. All right, other guys, let's party. And only later do you realize there's patterns and habits and things like that, that maybe you have an addiction problem. I honestly, I don't know where this guy is, and I wonder if he's still in jail. He had a lot of promise. He wanted to go into biochem, and he wanted to build, fake, people who, amputees, to have arms and hands and legs and stuff like that. And he had a lot of promise. He was in, I think he got into U of T. I think he got into U of T, and no, he went to York, and he fucked up, he messed up, and so, yeah, I knew friends who just kind of went in that direction. But I remember one rave, there was the docks. Everybody knew about the docks. It was down to where it's Cherry Beaches now there, but it was down to the docks to party. They had raves occasionally, and I remember this guy telling me how a cop picked him up and shook him, and he said, "What the hell are you on?" Like, amount of drugs that this guy was, it's awful. Like, and when you're that age, you don't think about these things, or you don't think about rehab, you don't think. And back then, I'm talking about like 25 years ago, I think this was. Holy shit, I'm old. No, it wasn't 25. It was 20 years ago. Back then, like, we were kids, we didn't know any better. And it's not like I was like, oh, gotta get a rehab, gotta clear this guy. No, because back then, it was cool. It was cool when you fuck up. It was cool when you went to jail. It was cool when you didn't give a shit, you know? I don't know what to tell you. It's just the kids are rebels. And I'm very unfortunate. What can I say? I'm kind of glad that it didn't end up going in that kind of direction. But I knew people who did. I knew people who died of overdose. The one thing that I knew, my party days were over when I went to Veld back in 2015. No, 2017. 2016 or 2017, something like that. I went to Veld. It's like an outdoor concert in Toronto, Downsview Park, and I went by myself because I couldn't find anybody else who wanted to go with me. And I figured that it would be the same experience as it was for me back in 2013 when I had an ex who went with me, and we made so many friends, you know. And then like 3-4 years later, I went by myself because I thought I would have like a cool experience. But nobody wanted to talk to me. Everybody seemed to be kind of like distant, extroverted almost, and I felt like I was like a weird, drunk, desperate loner. And I remember some dude was like, yeah, come to a hotel with us, and I went to a hotel with them, and I was just crying the whole time, and I wanted to go home. I was not having a good time. I was like breaking down. I had so many, I was going through like a breakdown. And I remember I asked the hotel manager to drive me home, and he drove me home. It was the oddest thing. Like, it was a hotel this guy was staying at. I was gonna stay with them and go swimming with them, and I was just, I don't know, I wasn't feeling well. And I asked this, like, I was just, you know, going through a breakdown, and I asked this hotel manager, who was nice enough, he drove me home. And yeah, I never talked to him, obviously, because when you go through a breakdown, you don't take somebody else's phone number down who saw you go through it and like keep it as a record. I mean, I am very thankful that he helped me out that night, but oh my god. And then after that, I never went out partying. In fact, I think I completely isolated myself at that point. Maybe it was 2016. I completely isolated myself from all of that. Yeah. My party days were over, and I had to face it. I was 26, 27. My party days were over. There's people out there from my past that I guess I kind of left it there too. I left a lot of things back there, and it's okay if I don't visit them. And it's okay if the people I knew from back then don't want to reach out to me. I completely understand. I was not the greatest person back then. I was a very arrogant, selfish, kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't right. And like I think at some point I did try to apologize to all these people and make amends. Because when they knew me, I was a full-blown alcoholic, and I didn't treat my friends right. And in fact, I was a total dipshit. I was Sam from London. And so if they don't never want to talk to me again, I completely understood that, and I'm cool with it. I know I fucked up. I know I messed up, and it wasn't them. It was totally me and my behavior that got me into all these terrible situations. And reflecting back on the past isn't really fun sometimes, because it didn't really have the greatest fun. I mean, there were great times, there were great moments. I mean, I did have an ex who I loved very dearly, and we had a lot of fun together when we did. You know, her friends, her family, even though I was such a little shit. I wasn't the greatest person. I don't know what I was. Maybe they saw me for who I was, and I didn't even know it. You know? But it's okay, because in 2020, I like, it's okay, it's part of the past. I was young. I didn't know any better. Young, dumb, and broke. But now, you know, in 2020, I did my therapy, and I did kind of come out on the other side of it all. I wonder if my therapist still watches any of my YouTube videos. I told her about my YouTube videos once, but it's kind of weird if she did subscribe and watched me. I mean, she could marvel on her work of the person that I did become eventually. I mean, she doesn't have all the answers. I can't expect her to have all the answers. I just needed somebody to rely on at the time, because I had a clean struggle for my next switch. I filled it up for him, but I'm gonna be going soon. When I say soon, I mean now. After this. Hide you for a second. (955-291) and seal 302-6105. Thank you. Bad judgment. Bad judgment. That's what I had back then. Bad judgment. And honestly, like, I think my amends, I did try to apologize, but okay, here we go. Someone at the door now. Alright, not sure. I think I should end this live, but I could just keep it going. God, I didn't realize just how deep my conversation got with everything. You know, talking about life and friends and the past in general. But anyways, alright, so since I'm here, I'm just gonna go, because anyway, I'm gonna go home. Maybe I'll live stream my trip home. But yeah, I'll probably end it here, and thanks for joining me on, yeah, it's a whole day of live streaming, but yeah, what's up? Thanks, and take care, guys. Next time. Till next.